우린 지금 on that night 조금씩 갈라지는 좋아요 eyes 확실히 달라 너와 나의 undertone Got this strange kind of chemistry Freezing 반짝이 나와 있으면 열이 나는 줄 모르고 잡아내려고 해봐도 우린 결국 스쳐로 남겠지 그 순간 난 녹아내려 Makes me marry 망가지는 중이야 Once we hurt you me 속여는 서로를 위해 노력해 봐도 우리 결국 시간 사이 내 못해 또 너에게 난 너를만 눈물 Love in a fire 어쩌지 못해 서로 위해 너 밀어내려 해 Always 가가 Love in a fire 우린 다른 어둠에 We got this strange connected mystery Eyes in the fire medicine by some kick and a chemistry Eyes in the fire Baby we got this strange kind of chemistry
매번 우린 다른 온도의 마음을 저울지 버림이 모두 다 버리고 없지 시간 지나 전부 아물 때쯤에 다시 너를 찾아가게 돼 You make me feel like I'm sailing 이뤄질 수가 없는 걸 알고 있으면서도 왜 I know I could be the same Ice on the fire 마치 극이 다른 자세
슬슬한 균형 속의 paradigm All of that 펼쳐진 광각 속에 넌 panorama야 우리 서로를 견제 스파크는 부장난이 그 잔재 어느 같은 네 세상에 너와의 갈증은 끊임없이 번져 매 순간 넌 녹아내려 Makes me marry 망가지는 중이야 Once we had you me 존경은 서로를 위해 노력해 봐도 우리 결국 시간 사이 왜 못해 나를 쓰고 다 쓰고 없는 나에게 난 너를 눈물 Love in a fire 어쩌지 못해 서로 위해 너 밀어내려 해 Always 가가 Love in a fire 우린 다른 온도와 We got this strange kind of chemistry Eyes on the fire medicine with some kick and a chemistry Eyes on the fire Baby we got this strange kind of chemistry Oh oh
Hello and welcome to I kind of forgot what week it was. I've lost count. I've taken too many weeks off and yeah, so welcome back to Boosted Bozos after another 1 week break, and in that time we saw a bunch of stuff happen in this league that we call the LPL, we call home. Also I got older by 1 year, which was last Wednesday. That's why there wasn't a show. I was gonna have my own, hey, it's my birthday special show, and then I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to bed. But yeah, and on tonight's show, or today's show, whatever, because it's actually sunny for once. That's the first time filming. It's been sunny. It's magical. One of the new members of the casting team over on the LPL and other casting places. If you want to say hi and give us your favorite ice cream flavor.
Hello, I'm Magical. You can call me Magical, whatever you want. My favorite ice cream. So, there's a pharmacy called Rite Aid, and they have a brand of ice cream called Thrifties, and there's a kind of ice cream called cotton candy ice cream. That's probably my favorite one, but it has to be that specific one.
Cotton candy ice cream. Oh, that sounds
Yeah.
really sweet. Like,
Oh, super sweet. It tastes like sugar. It's beautiful.
just pure sugar. I mean, yeah, that's a way to go about it. I'm not. To be fair, thinking about my favorite flavor of ice, I'm really basic. I kind of just like cookie dough or like Ben and Jerry's cookie dough.
Good, though.
Like, it's just a basic go-to. I'm like, even with pizzas, I'm very basic. I'm like pepperoni or nothing. Like, just give me pepperoni. It's safe, it's good, and it's always good. But yeah, before we start the actual show, like usual, it's to go through like the admin stuff and stuff. So if you like whatever do here, go follow. It means a lot. Go subscribe to your channel down below where all the VODs are. There's also a video on there from my uni projects. Please don't go watch that. I need to private it, but I need my lecturer to see it first, and he's not looking at it, and it's annoying me. But also VODs, I tried to go live within 24 hours after the show, but Emily's one, because it was 2 shows over like 2 different weeks. I'm trying to edit together, so yeah, that will go maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. I'm not gonna make any promises because I like breaking promises. But also my Twitter's down below if you want to go see how much I'm gonna cry tomorrow, because April Fools, Invictus Gaming are playing. It's just it's gonna be a mess. It's actually just I don't like this. I don't like what's gonna happen tomorrow. It's just April Fools and Invictus Gaming. They shouldn't click. Also, if you have any questions in chat, please feel free to throw them in there. And Magical or I will pick them out and be like, yep, that's a cool question, we'll answer it. But now that's out of the way, let's get on to the start of the show. The first segment is, how did you get here? It's not, how did you I got out of my bed and then I rolled over here, I said hi to my cat, and it's like, no, it's like, how did you get into this casting profession, in this situation you're in this thing we call esports? Because it's it's always an interesting journey. Everyone has their seemingly own ways in. So how did you get here?
So mine definitely is going to be one of those wild and crazy stories of coincidence after coincidence and accident after accident that led me eventually here. Because when I first started shoutcasting, I didn't even start as a shoutcaster. I started as a streamer, where all I would do is play League of Legends and stream. I had a pretty decent sized audience back then. And it was just me playing, memeing, trolling, and, random solo queue games. And eventually people were like, oh my god, we really love your energy. You should look into shoutcasting. I'm like, what's that? I looked into it. I'm like, okay, sure, I'll give it a try. And I just started with shoutcasting viewer games, where I'd have the viewers play, and I would just talk over that. And keep in mind, at this point, I had no desire to become a shoutcaster. No thought process that this would eventually become a career that I would get involved in. And so it was just to me, it was just another meme. It was just another fun thing to do. And people were like, you're actually pretty good at it. You should consider doing this more. So I kept doing it more. And eventually, a couple companies reached out to me. Like, you're really good. Would you like to work for us? I'm like, sure, I guess. And eventually, shoutcasting started taking over from streaming, because I ended up enjoying shoutcasting more than streaming. And to the point where just company after company, cast after cast, I would just keep growing and keep moving up. I think it really hit where I started hitting my stride was in 2018, when Cloud9 reached out to me so I could do their academy broadcast. And I joined into that, and that was the big broadcast of me, hey, this guy's coming up. And so I started working for Cloud9 for a while. I got a lot more things from that. I got Twitch Rivals soon after that. I got European Masters for 2020, at the beginning of 2020. I'm now doing LPL. It just, things kind of one after another kept piling up, and here I am today. I never would have thought it. It's
like I actually listened to there's a Hitmarker event stream on the Newell earlier today, where they had some people come on the show and explain their journey in esports, and it seems like a very esports journey where everyone they seem to just, it's rapid development over a few years. It's once you start going, it doesn't stop. And you hear people in the quote real jobs, they're oh yeah, it took me 4 years to get promoted, where it's oh yeah, I started casting 2 months ago and now I'm doing worlds. Nice. It's that's possible, and I think that's a really beautiful but scary thing that happens in this like space, like how quickly you can go somewhere. But yeah, I wanted to ask about your first waltz with the LPL. When was your first experience with this region to the east, this pure chaos, this chaos dimension?
I've actually liked LPL for a while. Even before like casting it, I would just watch it on my own with a couple friends, and my sleep schedule used to be a lot more messed up. And granted, the LPL kind of made that even worse, and to the point where now I kind of have a normal sleep schedule because I'm just taking a break and kind of trying to catch up on some sleep, and so I actually sleep like 10 o'clock in the evening to like 7 o'clock in the morning, which is strangely normal for me. But normally it was actually the opposite, where I'd have to be up at 10 p.m. and then going to bed about like 8 or 9 a.m. just for casting LPL, and I'm probably gonna have to switch that back soon. But I started watching a long time ago. In fact, my favorite team for a super long time was Snake Esports.
Oh.
And yeah, I know, rip Snake. That was my favorite for a long time. But like I've had a couple other favorites. I'll leave the other one as a question mark until the end. But they were like my team that I'd always root for and get in chat and spam Snek with the Komodo Dragon and everything. Flandre, you know, Crystal back in the day, the Draven one trick. So it was one of those things I really always enjoyed. And then I eventually casted for the unofficial English broadcast for Demacia Cup 2019. That was like, I'd say my first kind of real exposure to casting LPL, because, you know, watching it is a different thing than casting. And I really enjoyed that. I was like, oh, this would be fun to do. But then I got distracted by a lot of other things. So I never really got involved again until starting this year, where I got reached out to become a part of the team in the broadcast. And I was like, oh, hell yeah. I am so excited for that, because LPL is, as you already said, chaotic. And I love chaos. That's one of my things is, if you've watched my cast, I can talk very fast. I just have this ability to where once I get in the moment, I get really, really excited and really into it. And I kind of get that almost rap god or like the horse race announcer, like sort of vibe going on, because I just enjoy it so much. I'm like really enthralled. But it works so much better with LPL because that's all it is.
Yeah, I mean, so sometimes you get that. Sometimes you get a game where it's like, why is the one kill in 5 minutes? Why is there no pentacles yet? What the hell? You guys are failing this region. Like, there are slow teams, but obviously the chaos is also like the chaos is like, oh yeah, this is what a team should do, but the LPL teams, nah, we're just gonna click buttons and shoot heads. Cool. It's like, nah, guys, you're gonna play macro? Nah, we're gonna just go over here and do this because this is fun. And you'll see that their player cams are all laughing like throughout the game, and it's like, oh, this is actually like a really interesting thing. But yeah, your first waltz with the LPL was viewing it as a spectator. Snake was like 2017, 2018.
So, like 2017, 2018, because I think it was Flandre, it was SOFM, it was, who was the mid laner at that time? I'm trying to remember. He didn't last very long, but he actually was pretty good. And then Crystal in bot lane, because he was the Draven one trick.
Got a lot of those.
You gotta love the Draven one trick, because he was actually really good. And he just retired on his own. But and he ended up getting replaced by Light. But it was like, Crystal was always one of those players I was really bummed when he left, because I was like, oh, Crystal, it was Crystal, SOFM, and Flandre. Even though the team was always like right in the middle of the pack, they were one of the more like super exciting teams, because again, you know, being a Draven one trick, it's fun to see a player who's like Draven good, doesn't matter, playing him anyways. And yeah, I think it was 2017. I think that was when I really started getting like invested.
2017, I mean, yeah, I came around in 2018 with League of Legends, so Snake were like a little bit before my time. I know for their 2018 antics, but like Flandre and SOFM on the same team, that you think about it, that's just a really funny combo, because one's a really creative jungler and the other top laner is just some guy that just starts smashing people, and it's like, and he's just laughing, and he's just, yeah, cool. You want to dive me? Nah, not happening. And then So who are your favorite League players then, of like all time? Would you say it doesn't have to be LPL, as like anyone? Because I mean, LPL wise, I'm hearing you enjoyed Crystal. you were a Crystal enjoyer.
Well, it was Crystal, SOFM, and Flandre. Definitely, if I had to say LPL, those were probably my three, like among my three favorites. Let's see. If I actually had to say a player that was my favorite, though, I'd probably have to go way back in the past and go with Darien of Gambit in Moscow
Oof.
5 days.
That's
And these are old days. Yeah, like him and Genja were probably among my favorites because you got the Wizard Lizard top lane who played whatever he wanted. He played Warwick top until it got banned just to see if he could get a team to ban it. And then you have Genja the Time Lord who played things that were so creative and so different even as an ADC that people were like, there's no way that would work. And then eventually everyone else started copying it because it was too good to not copy.
Yep. Moscow 5 were they were a team. It's like how what word could you just got like above IQ like they were like super far ahead. It's like no, they were just like picking stuff and be like, this is gonna be good because we're good. We're making this good. And I feel like Moscow 5 would have been a team that would have survived in the LPL because they would have picked whatever and it would have been like, oh yeah, we're gonna play this because you know what? We're better than you. And that's literally that's an Invictus Gaming mentality of you just counterpick Syndra? Nah, we just counterpick. You just got Syndra, and it's like, oh, okay, rookie, calm down. But I mean, Genja and the Wizard Lizard, they're all fair picks, and also LPL. I think SOFM got a lot more fans after last Worlds.
Yeah.
Even with the Omnistone literally in World Finals, the bit wild, but you know he was there, and just seeing him constantly invade with his tank Lee Sin, the tank Rengar. This man he does live in a different dimension sometimes. I think he sees things. He's like who would have thought tank Rengar is the counter to Evelyn?
I know. That's the thing I like about SFM. It's I like creative players. You can't tell from like the players that I'm choosing, even if it's like I got a Draven one trick in there. It's like I like players that will try to break the mold, and I respect Invictus for that. Also, same with Suning. It's like they kind of do their own thing. FPX. There's a reason why I like FPX as well. It's these teams that will try to break that mold. They don't really want to fit into what everyone else deems the meta. They want to set the meta.
Well, I read somewhere, talking about FPX and creativity, I read somewhere that you claim that you invented AP Nautilus mids. It does say like straight after that, Ender refutes this claim. And I was laughing because I was like, oh, that's so magical is the reason Doinby won Worlds.
So, I mean, I would probably attribute that more to two smart people creating something at the same time. Because I was playing it well before, like, I saw anyone else playing it. There was no, competitive region that had played it so far. But I highly doubt that Doinby saw me playing that and be like, I'm gonna copy that guy. I don't even think at the time. Because I was like, when I was really small, too. It's like, I was not big in the community at all. There's no way in hell he saw this random guy who'd stream every other week and be like, that's the guy I'm gonna copy. That seems smart. I'm thinking it's more of like a coincidence that I started playing it and then he started playing it as well.
Well, what happens if like some guy you've watched you, like some guy that we don't know, and he's like, I'm gonna play AP Nautilus mid, and then beat Doinby, and Doinby was like, because he learned it from you, and then Doinby was like, oh, I got beat by this must be good, I'm doing it. Like that is a possibility, and it also is a possibility. It's a possibility that Doinby like randomly was just going around one day and just clicked on a stream and was like, the hell is this? Oh.
Could be. I doubt it. I mean, then again, I have also, and if you look at the Leaguepedia page, it also says I have claimed to play every build on every champion.
Yep.
Because I do that where I go on like PBE when champion just gets released, like Gwen is just getting released on the PBE, and so after this, I'm planning on actually streaming and playing her with these weird builds to try to see what works and what doesn't work. The one that I have off the top of my head is going to be Tank, where it's like reminiscent of the old Tank Echo build.
Oh god.
And the thing is, and I think it will work really well, and it's actually probably going to be something that gets nerfed really fast. But these are the kind of ideas that I come up with.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It's like you should try it one day, like stuff like that. Like with thinking about like Tank Echo. Who would have thought Tank Echo works until someone tried it? What was it? A Tank Rengar. Also, there's another one, AP Nautilus. Like there's these nuanced builds. I remember Alistair mid was like a pick at one point back in the day.
Yes, it was.
That was
It was also top lane Alistar was really good for a long while. And that had to do with like, so there's two different build paths with Alistar. So there's the AP build for mid lane, And but that also worked top lane. And then there's the AD build, because his ult used to give you increased AD as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like seeing those creative builds, like I've gone back and watched it, and it's like, oh, that's fun. It's also like, who would have thought Sona Taric bot lane would have been a thing? And then it was so annoying that Riot were like, hey, we're gonna change support items, so you can't do this anymore.
Can I just say that, yeah, well, Sona Taric is definitely dead. Like, you can't really do it as well. Seraphine Taric is going to be the next thing.
Yeah.
Why has nobody played this yet?
That's
going to be so annoying. There's nothing you can do to that lane.
I've told my friends about this, and they're like, yeah, but I don't want to play Taric. And I'm like, well, I don't want to play Seraphine, but if we want to win games, we could try it. There's also, like, Magical Cat and Garen. There was also... We never got to see the Mundo Yumi build. But I'm telling you, Mundo Yumi was better than Garen Yumi, because Mundo just doesn't die. Because he has his own healing as well as Yumi healing, and Yumi's just doing loads of damage, and this Mundo is just running as quickly as can.
You know, now that you say that, why did that never catch on? That's way better than Garen.
I think it was because at the time Garen's build path was a little bit stronger, and it was easier to farm, because Garen has the passive healing, whereas Mundo doesn't really have that.
But he has his passive, kind of. It's just not as strong.
I mean, Garen's was like, yeah, you poke me out of lane, I'm just coming back with full health in 2 minutes. But but the double support bot lanes, I mean, we've seen it this season already. Seraphine's already there, and I'm not enjoying it already. I don't want to see her anymore. I'm already
She's not going away for, I think, this entire season. It's like when Kai'Sa got released and we saw her that entire year.
I mean,
we're still seeing her to this day.
Kai'Sa's a fun champion, because you go into the backline with Kai'Sa. Seraphine, you just sit there and you punch your keyboard. And that's why when I see LPL teams pick it, I'm like, no, bad. You're bad.
So,
evil.
Did you ever play full AP Janna mid?
No,
really
no, I didn't, but I wish I did.
It's the same thing as Seraphine. You just use your Q, you clear out the minion wave, and you never leave your turret.
I mean, I would have been going full aggro with my W, because it slows them out, just running them down. I mean, I do that at Janna support anyway. I go full battle Janna.
Well, see, I like to go 80 Janna top, where you max your E shield, and you're just going crazy that way, and nobody, like, they're trying to kill you, but as long as you have your shield up, you get all that increased AD, and you're just attacking so fast, and then once they get near you, you use your tornado to knock them up and continue to wail on them.
That sounds so fun.
Oh, it's so fun.
But pulling us back into the LPL, I wanted to ask, what is, like, your favorite LPL series that you've casted so far? Now, you said you casted a bit of Demacia. You can throw in those Demacia series if it was just a chaotic, because I know Demacia is
Demacia is chaotic. I will say, the really cool thing about when I casted Demacia Cup, it was the first time that JJ actually got to play on EDG. And he only got to play temporarily because there's more, you know how Demacia Cup is.
Yeah.
They kind of use their subs and their rookies to be able to give him a little bit of time. And so that was the first time he got to play. And he didn't get to really play again until, I think, later that year in 2020. But it was the first time to really see how he's going to be able to do. And he was an exciting jungler to see. He was playing, at the time, I'm trying to think, I think it was like, you know, when Lee Sin was really popular. And he was playing a bunch of that with that creative pathing that reminded me a bunch of SOFM. And so I really liked that, but I can't remember series from that exactly off the top of my head. And so, like, if I had to say a series I casted, I got lucky. I got to cast one of the matches of the week, but as a color caster, and I'm a play-by-play. I prefer when I get to be the hype man and be able to yell a bunch, and so I'd probably say the RNG JDG series was probably my favorite.
The series that I've dubbed the Brawl of Beijing, because both teams are based in Beijing, and it is literally a brawl. And I think I spoke to Raz about this. I don't know if it's fact or not, but I'm praying that the bases are based in different areas of Beijing. One's on the east and maybe one's on the west, or one's north, one's south. Then we have like the east versus the west Beijing derby, like a literal brawl.
So I think RNG have left Beijing, if I'm correct. Like, they were there, but only recently did they leave. And but it would have been really funny if they were like on the opposite.
Yeah.
So it's the east-west kind of divide. Like, I know here in the United States there are some teams that are like that for different sports. Like I think of see, I don't know sports too well. I'm more of an esports person, so I think it's the Yankees and the Mets for baseball. They're both New York teams, but technically the Mets are more closer to New Jersey, so they get all those fans. While New York, the Yankees are actually like in New York itself, so they get all the New York.
I mean, it's the same here in England. Like in football, you get Crystal Palace in South London and Arsenal in North London. Like that, your fans are going to be a lot different. I mean, Arsenal dominate most of London, but that's like it's like that kind of stuff in esports as well. Having a little bit of geolocation is kind of cool. I mean, I
like it personally. I'm waiting for the other regions to start grabbing onto that. I think
it's just
so much.
I think I've spoken to I've had like numerous different conversations about this with people, and it was like, yeah, when we talk about geolocation, I mean, LEC it's kind of impossible because like visas and traveling constantly is not like a good thing. NA is okay, just NA viewership needs to be higher, I think, and they need to have better fan bases ish because
they need to have the orgs actually invest.
Yeah, who's gonna go?
That's a topic I could rant on for you.
Yeah, who's gonna go watch CLG versus Golden Guardians at the Oracle Arena? Like, no one. Like, no one's gonna watch that.
No. I mean, that's the biggest problem with NA is like, because I still cast a good amount like for the like academy and stuff here in North America. It's just like you have 2-3 teams that really care, and then everyone else is just kind of there.
Yep.
And it's just one of those things. It's just heartbreaking that you're like, come on, guys, give a little bit more effort. At least give us the good old college try. And that, because you look at like LEC, and it's like even if the teams are at the bottom, you can tell what they're trying to do.
They're trying. At least they're trying.
Mission. Exactly. It's like LCK, same kind of thing. LPL. I mean, you have 17 teams, so obviously, with that, there's so many teams that it's hard for even like the bottom of the teams to always be competitive, because sometimes they'll put together a roster that they think that's going to be really good, and it ends up being bad. Rogue Warriors.
I mean, yeah, Rogue Warriors, they're okay. We try to respect AHQ Rogue because they're gonna rebrand at some point, and we're gonna get all the. I'm still surprised that Conway never came over from AHQ, and
I know,
which was a bit weird. And then I see him smurfing in PCS, and I'm like, well, good job, guys! You got a good jungler, didn't you? Wow, incredible.
Mm-hmm.
But I also wanted to like a little quick ask. Obviously, you're casting the LPL and stuff. Are there prospects in the line that maybe you'll go to China? Maybe I've seen that. Obviously, Dagda and Penguin went out there, and it was a journey for Dagda. He didn't get to drink beer. Obviously, I don't know what Munch is doing right now, but will there be a prospect?
I am hoping so. I can't talk on that one too much, but definitely, the cards are there, and we're hoping that will be the case. But knock on wood, you just never know.
You just gotta pray. I mean, it's always seems like that. Like it's always just missing the little bits. Like when they came back in the studio, I mean, I let out. I was like, oh, it feels like we're back because I've missed this.
It's so nice to be in studio. That as a caster, like going back into like the journey of how I started, it's like starting in this similar fashion where first it was in my bedroom. Now I actually have like a mini studio I've set up in my garage, so it's a little bit easier where I can be as loud as I want at all times, and it's not really disturbing anyone. But that was more of like development over time. And once I got to studios, once I was actually in studios up in like Los Angeles or getting flown across the to different places. Like even last year, I was supposed to go to Europe for European Masters, and then all the quarantine stuff happened, so that didn't end up working out. But it's so much nicer to be in studio, to have your co-caster right next to you, to be in front of all these like live cameras with nice lights everywhere, and you got a whole production crew right on the other side that are mixing the volume so that you sound just as crystal clear as possible. It is so nice. And like Penguin and Dagda, I'm so jealous of them that they're in studio. I'm like, I want it so bad.
Yeah, I it's also like that. Like the studio is like with me, it's like trying to find the balance between work and home, because like the past year I've been literally in my bedroom, and work is my bedroom, and it's like an absolute mess. Or it's like, whereas if you like go to a studio, it's like because I used to play sports, it's like, oh, when you go to a stadium, it's like you have that mental switch of now I'm in the zone, I'm in a place now where I'm supposed to do my thing, and it's like that little like that switch because it's a different place. But I mean, I've never casted in a studio, but I could completely understand what you mean by sports references. But yeah, I mean, one day you'll be there, hopefully.
One day. Just gotta knock on wood, pray, keep my fingers crossed. Where's the lucky horseshoes and the rabbit's feet? Gotta get all that stuff out.
But obviously, we'll move on to the next segment now, because now we've kind of understood and figured out how Magical got here over his magical journey, as you could say. But obviously, this week there's not going to be a wheel to select what game to watch for next week, because there's 2 series to watch. It's playoffs. It's the dreaded April Fool's game where I'm going to cry. IG versus Rare. I'm not hoping IG win, because my rule is I don't bet for them anymore. I'm always against them, because then it's a win-win. If I bet against them, I'm right, I get the ego. When they lose, I don't get the ego, but I get ego from IG winning. So it's like,
See, you have my mentality where I do that a lot. Where if you look at my predictions, you'll oftentimes see that I have the meme predictions and things, because if I'm right, that's the biggest brain ever. Oh my god, look at this guy. But if I'm wrong, oh no, it's a meme thing. I lost. Oh no.
it's like it's always a win-win for me. It's like I can't lose. I always get stonks from this. But obviously, because there's like 2 series and stuff, we won't be spending oil. So if you want to watch any game, don't watch tomorrow. It's gonna be iBoy stomping. but yeah, that means we're gonna go into the segment which always follows the first wheel, which is, well, we talk about the game that was selected, and the game that was selected 2 weeks ago, which was EDG versus E-Star, which is a bit of a series, because EDG just decided, hey, let me just beat this kid up real quick. Let me just, Viper's just gonna, who's this guy in the Irma? Who?
Okay, give E-Star some credit. You stopped the game after 5 minutes. It looked great for them.
I was gonna say, how did it, like, going in, we have like a little bit of segment, it's like, how did you feel going into the series? Like, watching it, like, obviously we're all expecting EDG to win, but you really like, what were you thinking of the E-Star side? Were you just praying for something?
Yeah, pretty much. You were just praying that someone's computer blew up. Oh god, because like I said, if you stop both game 1 and 2 after 5 minutes, it looked great for E-Star. Like, what was it? Game 1, solo kill for Irma over Scout. You're like, oh my god, that is amazing. Game 2, they had the death brush where they got the kill on a Viper at level 1. Oh my god, and then everything fell apart from there. Nothing looked good from there on out. It was just EDG going, okay, there's your little gimme, and now we play. And oh god, what was it? Game 1 I think was 23 minutes. Game 2 was 24.
Yeah, it was what we call a fast series, a G2ing, if you will, or a down oneing now. After what they did at Worlds.
God, can I say even like down one still, like, they look so strong. Like, I know that's a whole different topic, but man, I'm not looking forward to seeing them again at MSI or Worlds, because if they keep this domination, oof.
I mean, we could digress into some MSI topics, because my next topic was EDG to MSI. Like, EDG, will they win Summer? Because of how good they've looked. They've got the MVP of the split, my boy Viper. I currently own EDG Viper on EUS. If anyone wants to buy it off me, I'm charging £1,000. Stonks went up.
That's good stonks.
But yeah, like, what are you expecting EDG to win? Are we betting on them? Because obviously, I've had Linda on the show. If you know Linda, at Crystallization on Twitter, the resident EDG fan, and she knows when it's going good, it's gonna go bad. At some point, it falls, and it's not happened yet. So,
well, it's why I never get hype about Team WE either.
Yeah.
Because the moment you give Team W any praise, they always fall apart. It's the same thing with EDG, except not to as an extreme degree as Team WE. But I think it's really dependent on what happens in these, especially just looking at spring, these lower brackets.
These gauntlets is just horrifying to look. 10 teams.
Oh, and the thing is, like, only one of the teams can I say it's like I don't think is even going to do well, and that's LNG, because more is just the strength of the top 9. I think the top 9 teams are really good. Like, Rare, Adam, IG, even, like, that one's just a heartbreaker for me, because I think both teams are great. And Suning on the other side, again, another heartbreaker, because they're amazing. and then you have whoever wins between Rare Atom and IG goes up against FPX, and then JDG. It's like, and JDG, if JDG win, they're beating RNG. I think that they've got RNG's number. It's like rock, paper, scissors at this point. RNG can beat EDG. EDG can beat JDG. JDG can beat RNG. And that's like, and the only like wrench that you could possibly throw in there is Top, because Top's Top, and who knows what they're gonna do.
Well, I mean, I'd throw a wrench in there. Invictus Gaming, we don't know what they're gonna do. They'll do something, and it'd be like, what? You won a 50-minute game and you were down to 20k gold? How?
That is fair. That is fair. But they're going up against Rare Atom to start it off.
Exactly.
That's what makes me question. If it was them going up against
like the best
LNG,
team,
and then FPX afterwards, I'm like, alright, they got this in the bag.
No.
So I don't know why they just tend to be able to beat teams that you're like, oh, there's no way they can beat this team, and they're like, and then they win. But it's because they're against Rare Atom to start it off that I think they're gonna lose.
No,
I think they're gonna get knocked out right away.
If they faced LNG, they'd get knocked out straight away. Because I mean, last time it happened, Flandre decided to go God mode and just 1v9'd. But at the same time, IG play to the strength of their opponent. Now, if they're against EDG, goated. If they're against LNG, Icon's better than Rookie. And now we're just here, and it's like that's the wrench. Like if IG somehow win tomorrow, get through and face FPX, you could be on for like the most chaotic series ever, because IG could like go insane, or FPX could be like, no, none of this, no more, stop.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I feel like Rare Atom got this. I think that it's gonna go 3-1 against IG, and they're gonna somehow make the run, and everyone's just gonna be like, how? And then they're gonna get to round 4, and they're gonna get knocked out immediately, and you're like, oh.
Yep. I mean, my point, my like idea was, if EDG win this, like if EDG go to MSI, EDG win MSI. There's no way EDG do not win MSI, because it's either EDG lose in the first round they're in, or they win everything. There's no way about it. There's no, oh, we won spring and we're gonna like lose in finals. No, you win MSI. You go 2-time MSI.
I'm hoping so, because as an EDG fan, I do like the fact of like the thought of EDG are going to be able to win MSI, and it's going to be like their resurgence. Then summer they can do well again. But it's one of those things where you just never know. And with how Dom1 I've been playing, I want that finals. I'll be honest. I would love a Dom1 versus EDG finals at MSI. Oh my god, that'd be so awesome to watch. But I just have this nagging thought in the back of my mind that Dom1 are just, they're here to dominate and they are not gonna relent.
I mean, I see it like, okay, EDG versus Dom1 in the MSI finals. It's game 5. JJ just ran it down. It's time. Bring him in, boys. Clear Love puts on his jacket and he walks out. It's just the anime scene.
Can we just say that, like, Clear Love is to EDG what Benji was for SKT back then?
Yeah.
Where it was just, any time, it's like, he hasn't played all season long, but it's finals at MSI or Worlds, and they're just like, JJ's running it down. Bring in Clear Love, baby. And he comes in, and somehow it's just like, he hasn't missed a beat, and just is amazing. And you're like, how?
That would be I would say that would be the most like Clear Love thing to do.
It would be.
It's just written. We can't. There's no way this. I'm praying this happens now.
That would be so fun. That's one of those stories. It's like with mentioning, SKT, and even then Blank later. It's one of those fun stories to be able to reminisce about. Of like, this player hasn't really played in. They're the veteran who's kind of, everyone's saying they're washed up. They're no good anymore. Then they come in and they're like, look at me, I have still got it, baby, and then just crush, and you're like, okay. It's like, oh yeah, this is the world finalist. Nah, bro, I'm Clear Love. Step aside. I've got this. I mean, it would also be like the most like, I mean, after LPL's spring anime intro, how insane is that? We have Clear Love and an anime story at MSI, huh? And there's rumors Star Guardian skins ready for later in the year. Oh my god, it's just anime for LPL. Let's go. It's written. It is written in stone. We can quote back to this moment that we called it.
We predicted it, but at the same time, I'm praying EDG go to MSI because I'm gonna use my ownage of EDG Viper to try getting. Hey, yo, Viper, I'm friends, yeah. Add me. I'm gonna try using it to the maximum. I tried to do it on Balan and he left EU before I could do that, which was kind of sad.
I'll say if you want EDG to go to finals, you want JDG to win and beat RNG.
I mean that's happening.
The thing is, I'm not so sold that JDG are guaranteed to be going in. Well, I think that they have hit their stride and they are looking like the strongest and one of the smartest teams again in LPL. The problem for them is I feel like it's the rock paper scissors match.
Yeah.
You know, Zoom's looking fantastic in the top lane. Like, oh my god, seeing how he was able to Xiaohu, I was convinced I'm like he's the best top laner in LPL until Zoom's like, hold my beer. And I'm like, okay, Zoom, you won me over. It's like, and so, but the thing is, it's the rock paper scissors. I feel like a team such as maybe like IG, if the Shy's actually playing to his top, like if
big if.
That's why I do have to preface that with an if. But I even think like Nuguri is someone who could try to see if he can contend against Zoom. And so if FPX are against them, that's going to be a really close series. I don't think it's as easy because just because you're a smart team doesn't necessarily mean that you can see what's going on in the chaotic mind that is FPX.
Yep. I mean, there's so many, like, obviously we had the circle of suck at the start, like, the middle of the season when finally, like, EDG lost to IG, because then everyone's beaten everyone. And, like, again, it's like, in LPL, it always feels like, oh yeah, this team's sick? Oh, they could lose, though. It's always a could. It's like, you look at, like, LCS, it's like, okay, who's gonna beat Caroline? Okay, who's gonna beat G2? Maybe? And you're trying to, like, outsmart and, like, ascend, basically trying to outthink them. Whereas LPL, it's like, oh yeah, EDG went like 16-1 in the regular season. Cool, they're gonna lose to LNG because that is possible, and I think that is the beauty of this league.
I mean, what was it? RNG were super strong, and they only lost before JDG to Billy Pilly of all teams. It's like that's their one loss they had all the way towards the end of the split, and you're like, that's the team you lost to.
I mean, IG beat TT. That was good. I had to remember if IG beat TT. Yeah, I had to remember. I was like, wait, did we beat TT? I do remember at one point they brought out Seraphine Karma comp or something like that, and I was like, and they almost lost the game, and I was like, guys, you're legit playing like the worst comp. Like it's so toxic to play it, and you're almost losing. Like, please, give me life, TT. But Well, actually, segue, talking about LPL teams and stuff, into we'll pick a wheel. The wheel will pick. Obviously, we haven't consulted the wheel yet. The first time and only time this show, we're going to consult the wheel for Magical's. We're going to say Magical Summer Team, because there's all 17 teams, so if you get V5, they're not in playoffs, so like, they're your team for summer. So this is the team that's gonna win summer, basically. Because
I'm gonna write this on a big piece of paper, and I'm gonna tape it up behind me, so that way we know. So let's see what the wheel has destined for me.
The wheel, all 17 names. Obviously, you're EDG fan, but like obviously, if EDG come up, and we'll spin the wheel. We'll see what he says. We'll see what they say. The omnipresent wheel. Oh my god, have I just spoken to? Okay, I haven't. I almost did it again. It's LGD, which is actually like a really fun, but I almost spoke EDG into existence.
I saw that. I was like, oh my god, it was so close.
After what happened with TT and the amount of soonings I've got, LGD, went to Worlds? Question mark. Yeah. Did they go to Worlds?
Yeah, there we go. I got it on the big piece of paper.
We've got LGD on the big piece of paper. And then...
I got it already. I don't have tape on me, so I'll have to figure out a way to put this up behind me where you can see it.
You're gonna have to color it in the LGD colors as well. The blue.
I have plenty of pens for this. I have like all these kind of like colors. Look at this. Look at these assortment. Got like tons. I'll do that later though. That'll be a later.
So when someone asks why is LGD taped up to the wall, it's because I'm supporting them. They are my team.
The wheel chose us. I am now LGD. Though I will say, LGD did look much better towards the end of the split. They started coming into their own a lot more, where it does give me a bit of hope for summer. I'm not gonna say a lot. I'm not like inspired, like this is gonna be the next big team. It's like they might make playoffs in summer. There's a chance.
I mean, they've got Kramer, who's okay. I would say they've got Uniboy. I'm a huge Uniboy fan. I've messaged him
Uniboy was looking really good at the end of the split too.
I've messaged him a few times on Instagram, and he has replied. You know, me and him, we're cool like that. Also got Garvey. I really wish Garvey got more game time. Man is kind of cracked.
Yeah.
Sometimes he's he's like the shy, but light. Like light the shy. Like when he's on it, but he's not gonna fully 1v9. When he's off it, he's kind of off it, but it's like serviceable. It's not like he's actually just turbo running it, which is the shy. But yeah, like, he's a bit of an Aurelius savant.
Well, the thing is, it was crazy when I got to cast him. I only got to cast him one time this split, and that was the LGD IG game in week 10, where that game looked doomed. It looked like IG were going to run with it until Garvey shows up in one fight and just pops off. Like, he went off in that fight, and I'm like, LGD are gonna win just because of Garvey, and they barely lost that game. I'm like, oh man, Garvey deserved that victory. Everyone else was pulling him down, and he deserved it.
I mean, at Worlds as well, when Longxing was big, like I don't know, he just kind of fell off the face of a cliff for a while. I've always been a bit of a Garvey enjoyer. I've been like, hey, give him more game time, and obviously they weren't giving him game time, and I was just a bit like, please, he's at Worlds. Let my boy play. Free my boy. And again, this season, they don't want to play him. Yeah, he's the best top laner. But there's hope. And I will say, to make LGD better, obviously maybe you get a different support. Not sure about that. Jungler. Now let me introduce you to my friend Xiaopeng, who is Elo Hell on Thunder Talk. He's been Elo Hell for his entire career. On Dominus he was Elo Hell. Thunder Talk he's now Elo Hell. Get that man a team. Put him with Uniboy. You got a winning combo. God. Uniboy, it's like a budget team that would actually do really well.
I think it would. The thing is, I think Chance is really starting to come into his own on LGD. I think he's looked a lot better than Peace. It's kind of like a side grade, but Chance is just slightly better, and he's working better with Kramer, and that's the big thing. And so I think you keep playing Chance, and then you get someone like Xiaopeng. You put him in that lineup. And LGD are definitely like, again, not a top team, but they are 100% in playoffs with that team.
They're better than LNG immediately. Like LNG,
exactly.
LNG, in my opinion, are just Tarzan and Icon. I do not like their bot lane. Their top lane is okay. I was a very big hater of him last year. I was like, this guy is not good, and he's been okay this season. And then they brought in Arle, and I'm like, I love Arle. That's my kind of guy.
But they're not playing him.
But
Mikuya.
I mean, Arle's not good. But he's
but Mikuya's not doing that great either, and that's my question. It's like, I don't know. I see it. Light and Iwandi, I don't mind too much. They're like a standard bot lane. Light is actually a little bit better, I think, than Iwandi. Iwandi's fun to watch just because, he's got a fun champion pool. But it's more of they're not that lane that are going to beat like the best of the best. They're going to be good and consistent. I think the one problem for LNG, if we're talking just LNG briefly, is they need a top laner.
Yep.
They need if they could grab Garvey, I mean,
I
think the team works a lot better. I think that LNG are going to be a stronger team and aren't just a barely make playoff team. They're actually like a pretty solid, again, not going to be like, dominant team immediately. But they're going to be a team that I'd go, hey, they might be able to win round 1. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if they got round 2 as well.
LNG round 1, round 2 if they had a top laner. Unlucky Mikuya. I kind of hope. I don't know what to do. I pray for you. And also LNG, that doesn't mean go buy Aldi. Please don't do it. There's a curse.
No. The thing is, it's like I'm being harsh on Mikuya and Ale even to a degree, but it's not like they're bad players. It's just I don't feel like they work with LNG. And it's an issue that I feel like you look at TT. Xiaopeng, amazing player, but just the rest of TT doesn't work with them.
Yeah.
And it's like, and he's trying so hard to be able to carry that team that I feel like even like TT, if they had someone slightly different, the thing is, if you take off Xiaopeng, that team is like.
Oh yeah, that seems bad.
Yeah, that team's lower than Rogue Warriors. Oh man, that's and the thing is, and then you get me on Rogue Warriors, a team that I love the players on, but just doesn't work at all together in any capacity, and it makes me sad because I want them all to succeed, and I'm like, ah.
I mean, the amount of like rosters like this, like there's a lot of roster shuffling this season. Like I think it's more than I've seen in a while. Like even IG was shuffling their roster around. We've got 6 bot laners, like 3 ADCs, 3 supports. Like yeah, cool. I saw we had 3 supports last season. We only had 1 ADC. Now we have like what? You've got a bunch of couples and they're trying to like blind date constantly live on stream. It's like okay, bro, this isn't working. But like even across like the league, it's like Rogue Warriors just decided to nuke their entire team. That was an okay team. Holder,
well,
I think Holder went
granted,
to.
I think they had some issues when it came to quarantine and trying to get players.
Oh
in.
yeah,
I think that's kind of what caused a lot of the issues for Rogue Warriors right out of the gates.
I think also the acquisition of AHQ or AHQ taking over brought in a lot of change. It's like the Dignitas Glitch Gaming thing where they brought in change during Worlds. But like I was a bit annoyed that they let go of Holder and he went to the PCS. I think I was a big Holder enjoyer, and like players like I'm trying to remember now. Wooming. I'm glad he went to a different team, but at the same time I'm annoyed he went to OMG.
Oh, I know. He's got the icon prison now over on OMG. Because Wooming was definitely one of the better bits of that OMG team too.
I mean, put Wooming on like the E-Star team and it kind of works a little bit better.
Yeah,
I mean, E-Star don't have an ADC really. It's right really they got no ZS. I feel so bad for my boy.
What a rookie split, right? Oh man, he looks so good at almost all the time, and then it's just like you look at his stats, you're like, "How's this player good?" You like just watch him in lane, please.
Yeah.
Please don't just discount him because he's on E-Star.
He came from IG Young. I was, as an Invictus Gaming fan, I look at our younglings. I go through the rookies. I'm like, this guy is my guy, and usually it's like all 5 of them. I'm like, they're all my children now, and when they go, I'm gonna support them. So ZS goes to E-Star. I'm like, I salute him. I'm like, you and Hacker, go do your thing. And I just see him getting dove, and I'm like, my boy, come home. we will protect you. We need a top laner. Please come home. I feel so like he is so like solid. Like he just hasn't got a team. Like Hacker, I don't know. Hacker just kind of just disappeared a bit. Irma and Rat and I don't know what happened to Shrazi. Like he just vanished. He was solid for a split and. Well, I mean,
I feel like it's also like him and Rat just don't seem to have any synergy together. Rat's super aggressive with Shausi, kind of wants to play a little bit, like not passive, but just a little bit more back and wait for those opportune moments while Rat's like trying to force all these issues.
Rat thinks he's Jolmong without being Jolmong.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the big issue. And Irma, I don't think is bad. He's one of those consistent mid laners, but on a team like E-Star, you need to be more of a pop-off player if you want to have your team do well. Being consistent gonna mean that if your team's consistently bad, you're consistently bad.
Consistently bad. That's it sounds like IG to be fair. Which how are we in playoffs? But we'll move on into quiz time, which is obviously I don't have a name for it, but I do have a name for it because it's called Welcome to Erys' Quiz about things he likes or dislikes. Who knows? So do I like it or do I dislike it? It's a quiz name.
Is this a BoJack Horseman reference?
I haven't actually watched BoJack Horseman, so if it is, I didn't mean it.
I know you didn't. It's funny actually you didn't mean it because in BoJack there's like a random quiz show that they have. It's like Hollywood stars. Do they know things? Do they not know things? Let's find out. And that's like the title of the entire show.
Yeah, when I first did the quiz, I didn't have a name for it, so I was like, okay, let me just put some here so it's funny, and it kind of just stuck. And I was like, you know what? We'll just leave it at that. And just I don't have a name for it ever, but that's the name of it. But we'll move on. Obviously, most of these are multi-choice. Okay. Some of you get a little bit of bonus pointage. It's not really like the score is just for pride. Usually most people, I'm not sure, average because I had like different amounts of questions. When I first did it, I had 7 questions because it was a clear love quiz. But now I've updated. I went to 8 and now I went to 10. So people have different scores and like people have different bonus points and stuff. Like I think someone got like 10, but they had like 10 questions, but they had like they failed 3 because I gave them bonus points. But we'll start with question number 1. Who in the LPL regular season has the shortest average game time? A. IG, B. V5, C. FPX, D. EDG. Now this is average game time, including win and loss. So if they lose fast and win fast, they're up there.
See, I'm torn between FPX and V5. I think EDG, if I recall when I was doing stats, they're not like slow, but they're more. I think it was like a 30-minute average game time. And IG, I think, are 29, but I don't believe that that's the fastest. I think it's V5. I think it's V5.
V5. Can I lock that in?
Yeah, lock it in.
Unfortunately, you are incorrect. It's FPX.
Ah, no! It was the other one!
If I think of the top of my head, it's FPX with 28.56 and IG is second with 28.58.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, IG lose and win quick.
See, I was thinking the thing for V5 is they lose and win quick too.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like,
I think V5 are third. I think V5 are third. But I think IG snuck in there with some of their faster wins.
They did get a lot of faster wins there towards the end of the split. I think they even had that really bloody game too.
Yes.
Wild. That kind of makes me surprised that they were able to sneak into second, just because I know they've also had some games that just drag on forever, and you're like, how? Why?
Get me out. Get me out.
FPX, I should have gone with FPX. I'm like, I know FPX win fast. I know that they win fast. Do they lose fast too? That's the one that I was thinking. I'm like, I don't think they lose fast enough.
Question number 2. Speaking of IG, how many unique champions has the Shy picked this season?
Oh, I did a stat on this one too.
A15, B17, C16, D13.
It's not 13, I know for a fact. I know it was 15 when I last did that, but that was in week 9. Did he play more unique champions since then?
Oh.
I'm gonna go... I don't think it's 15. I think he played one more unique champion, but that's it. I think it's 16.
16?
Yeah.
Sadly, it's 17.
Ah, man. See, it's like, I knew it wasn't 13 for a fact, but I'm like, I can't remember how many more he played from 15, because when week 9, it was 15 when I did the stat, because I did a stat on who had the most unique champions of top lane. And it was the Shy and who was tied? Was it Ben? I think it was Ben.
I think Ben's up there.
Yeah, I think they were tied in week 9 at 15. And I knew that the Shy played one more, but I didn't think he played any more from there. Man. I'm so close on these. That's the thing. It's so heartbreaking. I'm so close.
We'll move on to question 3. Sticking on the Shy, and which of his champions of the 17 does he have the highest KDA on? A. Jace, B. Gnar, C. Lucian, D. Quinn. And you'll see these are all range champions.
Yeah, I was about to say they're all range, and how'd he do in that Quinn game? I think he's played it twice. I don't think he did that hard.
Oh, he's played Quinn once, I believe.
Oh, is it only once? Okay, because I'm trying to remember what was his like ultimate how he played on that. How did he do on Lucian though?
I think he's played Lucian twice, and I do know he played it in the final game of the season, and he had 14 kills. I will say that.
Oh, God. Oh, man. No, you know what? No. I don't think it's Lucian, because if I recall, I think that there was one game he played into Jace that he didn't do so hot on. It's not like they still won the game, but he didn't do super hot on it. And I think that might drag his KDA down, so I'm going to go with Quinn. I don't think it's Gnar, because I think Gnar's lower. He's played a lot of games with Gnar. I think Jace is kind of in the middle, too. I'm going to go with Quinn.
You are correct. It's Quinn with with 10.5 KDA. His Lucian has an 8 KDA.
10.5?
Yeah, in one game.
Oh, my God. I thought it would be a lot lower than that.
And Lucian has an 8 KDA, and that's boosted by that final game he had where he had like 14 kills and 2 deaths or something.
Wow.
When this man is on, he's on.
Seriously, That's the thing I was talking earlier about the Shine. It's like, it's if he plays well, IG are unstoppable. But he's got to play well.
Which one shows up? Question number 4. A bit of LPL history. What happened to IMA? A. They got relegated. B. Shouldn't have gone to Worlds. C. They got bought out and still exist in our hearts. D. None of the aboves.
Oh God, it's like, I mean, I like they shouldn't have gone to Worlds.
I mean,
because it's like there is an argument to be made.
Yes.
But I don't think that's the one. I don't think they got relegated either. I think that they got bought out. I remember there was a little bit of the controversy with Road back in the day too, with IMA. But I think they got bought out and they still exist in our hearts, so I'm gonna lock that one in.
You are correct. Now, can you name the organization / team that bought them out? The team is still playing in the LPL. Because it happened in 2017, 2018. I think 2017 they got bought out. So if you know, so LPL, it's kind of older LPL teams.
Yeah, was it Rogue Warriors?
No, it's BLG.
No.
It's for
yeah, I was trying to think of teams that entered the scene about 2017, 2018.
Yeah. I mean, you get the point for they exist in our hearts because they still do exist and they shouldn't have gone to Worlds, but better than LGD.
Yeah, that was the only one where I'm like, okay, I know that's not the answer. There's an argument to be made there. There's a good argument that could be made.
Question number 5. In 2018 summer, Rogue Warriors with Doinby, SMLZ, Holder, and Flawless, plus Coach Stake, finished first seed of the Western Division in the LPL. Where did they finish in the overall? Where did they finish overall in playoffs? A second, B third, C fourth, D fifth.
2018 summer or spring?
Summer.
I'm trying to remember back then. It's weird to think that that's almost 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't. Did they win that one? I think they actually, if I recall, that was the big surprise from them, right? In 2018, is that they didn't win summer, but they ended up winning Worlds.
Rogue Warriors.
They were able to.
Rogue Warriors haven't won Worlds.
Oh, Rogue Warriors. Sorry, I was thinking IG.
Yeah.
I was thinking IG. Okay.
I'm gonna say that right. Rogue. This is the.
Didn't you say? Can you repeat the question then? Can you repeat the question?
In 2018 summer, Rogue Warriors with Doinby, SMLZ, Holder, and Flawless, plus Coach Stake, finished in the first seed of the Western Division of the LPL. Where did they finish Where did they finish overall in playoffs? And it's.
I don't know why I misheard that completely. I don't know why I thought you said the Shy and IG again. I'm like, oh, where did they finish back then? I'm like, Rogue Warriors with Doinby. Because then later they went over to, well, not all of them, but they went over to FPX next year with Doinby. I think they didn't win. Didn't they barely miss out on? Yeah, they barely missed out on going to Worlds. I think they got 4th.
Can I lock that in?
Lock it in.
You are correct. They got 4th. They did.
Yeah, I was trying to remember.
They were a disappointment.
Who won that one?
They were a bit of a disappointment in playoffs because they should have challenged, but also at the same time in their division they were like stomping, and then IG and RNG were stomping their side, so it was like those three, and then somehow EDG were like, hey, it's our time, and snuck into Worlds.
Snuck in there, and that's right, because that was like a really, really weird finish where everyone was like really hyped on Rogue Warriors. They fell short. Then next year, Doinby left for FPX. And you're like, okay, how's this team gonna do now? And FPX, started becoming the next hot thing. So,
but yeah, you are correct. I think you have 3 points. Yeah, you have 3 points now. You've got the last, the past 3 correct. So you're on a bit of a streak. You're a bit of a hot streak.
Let's go.
Now a bit of a difficult question. Fill in the blanks of this poem written for Ning. This was on. This is by my friend on Twitter as well. It's quite old as well. He was a blank, but his team was the blank. There's no multiple choice here, but double points if you get both correct, so you'll get 4 points if you get both correct.
He was a blank, but his team was a blank.
Was the blank. Or slash.
The blank.
It's like was the blank slash was a blank.
The only thing I can think of.
It's from a bit of a copy pasta meme.
God, I'm trying to think what the copy pasta would be, because if this is an old one, I'm like, what are the... I always think the modern copy pastas, not the old copy pastas.
Well, this was written last year, 2020, summer-ish. So,
Okay.
and think it's Ning. You just gotta think it's Ning, and it's IG. Just think, like, that concept.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is he was the worst, but his team was the best.
oh.
And that's like, I know that's wrong, but that's like what comes to my head. And I'm like, I know that's not it. But what is it? Oh God, I can't. See, I'm not really creative when it comes to poetry, so I'm gonna have to lock that in because I can't think of anything
Okay,
else.
well, I would say you're incorrect, but it's a good one. The correct answer is he was a clown, but his team was the circus.
Ah, that's a good one too. Ah, man. My mind did not go there at all, and that's like that's an easy copy pasta.
You think of Ning, you kind of think of a bit of clowning.
Yeah. I know, but that's why it's like my mind was like, what's the worst? I'm like I know it's not that bad, but it's like not spectacular either.
According to Wikipedia, you casted some games in LPL 2019 summer. Or English, like semi-casted, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
One being BLG versus FPX.
Okay.
Do you remember what Kuro picked into Doingbeat's infamous Nautilus mid? A. Azir, B. Lucian, C. Syndra, D. Rumble.
I think it was Syndra. Because I think that was the game where everyone was like, "Oh my god," and I'm like, "I know what's going on here," and it was, and then he ends up solo killing him later. I think it was Syndra. I'm gonna go with Syndra.
Incorrect. It was Rumble.
Ah, it was. I'm surprised that the Rumble was picked that early back then.
It was. I can't remember what when they picked it, but I know they picked Nautilus. I'm sure they picked Nautilus first pick and just was like, "Yeah, go on then, buddy."
Okay, maybe that's what it was. Because my favorite one when I first was doing AP Nautilus mid way back in the day is because I was obviously just testing it first to see how well it would work, and I was streaming it and I was in a call with Ender, and this is why actually it's like Ender disputes the claims too. He hates when I bring this up. I was showing him it and. I'm getting pushed in and into wave, and he's like, "Oh, this is terrible." And I'm like, "Just wait." I hit level 3, I flash hook, and just all in this Ahri, and kill her. And I kill this Ahri immediately. And he's just like,
"What the hell?"
He's like, "How'd that happen?" And I'm like, "Don't worry. Once everything's back up, I'll do it again." And and sure enough, I did it again. And so I learned that it is amazing into control mages, and that's why it's like. Syndra, it's like, you're gonna get pushed in. That's what happens. But once you hit level 3, you kill her.
Yep.
It just...
Now talking about the team you're standing a little for the playoffs. Question number 8. Rare Atom are a very young team.
Yes.
But who is their oldest player? A. Aches, B. iBoy, C. Fofo, D. Maestro.
Oh, that's hard. Because, Fofo, iBoy have been around for a while, but
It's weird.
Ike's has also been around for a while, too. But I think he's younger. I don't know why I'm thinking it's Maestro. I think Maestro's been around even longer. I'm going to go with Maestro.
Can I lock that in?
Yeah, lock it in.
You're correct. It's Maestro. He was born in 98. Ike's was 99. I believe iBoy and Fofo are both 2000.
Ah!
So iBoy is only just turned 21 / is 20. Okay. So he's been around for 4 years almost, and he's still very young.
I mean, then again, Flantra I think is the same. It's like you don't realize how young he is since he's been around since essentially 2014.
It's also like
LS.
the Shy. It's
same kind of thing.
The
They're
Shy
a
is
lot
20,
younger than you
20,
think.
21. Like, it's like, how are you 21? Like, if you look at iBoy, you expect him to be young. You look at the Shy and Flandre, and you're like, they're like gentlemen. Like, they're older guys. And no, they're all the same age.
Yeah, it's wild.
Question number 9. Who are the 3 genius ADCs of the LPL? A. Deft Uzi SMLZ. B. SMLZ Zamuji iBoy. C. iBoy Jackie Love Abel. D. Wink Gala Samdi.
This is a hard one because you can make an argument that technically only the ones that are actually, from the LPL.
It's
not import.
I can't fully remember what the like why they're called this. I think it's just the creativity in the players is why they're called it. I just know it as a fact, and I'm like,
what makes me think it's Wink, Gala, and Sam D, because I know Sam D is considered a really smart ADC. Gala's pretty smart too, but Wink is the one where I'm like,
Wink's not that smart.
Right.
It just goes in.
Right, exactly. So I'm like, and that's what makes me like, I don't know. And then Jackie Love was in another one where I'm like, is Jackie Love that smart, or does he just kind of go in and fight? So can you repeat them one more time for me?
A. Deft Uzi SMLZ. B. SMLZ Zangwuji and iBoy. C. iBoy Jackie Love Abel. D. Wink Gala Samdi.
See, and now here's the next qualification, because you see like the age and the different time periods of the LPL. It's like, is that considered for the modern LPL, or is that just considered LPL in general?
But it's of the LPL, so
I know, and that's what makes it so hard.
when you give me an answer and we find out if you're correct or not, I'll explain the era in which we're talking.
The only one that really I'm like, okay, it's probably A. Because that one just seems more sound to me if we're just going to LPL as a whole. But then if we're going modern, it's like D, the last one, makes a bit of sense except for Wink. Wink is smartish, but I wouldn't consider smartest. I'm gonna go with A. I'm just gonna go with the first one, because I feel like if we're going as a whole, that would be the one I would guess.
Incorrect. It's iBoy, Jackie Love, and Abel.
Okay, wait. You're saying Jackie Love in this? You gotta and iBoy. You gotta explain this.
This is I think a meme from the Chinese community. It's like a meme / a thing they call it. I don't fully know the backstory of it, but what I remember is it's like them being very young and being very good. Like Jackie Love was like on the IG team at 16. iBoy was on there like 15. Abel I think was around when he was really young, but he wasn't the guy. But like it's like they were creative and very young, and I think that's the reasoning they've done that. I threw Deft
But
Uzi.
smart, but I can't get talented. Definitely 100%. But if I could get you a montage of all three of them on some of the dumb stuff that they do.
Yeah. I think that's also why they called it that. If you get it, that's probably also why.
Probably, because I'm just like, my brain goes, who's smart of this group? Who's actually talented? And then the Chinese community is like, no, you're thinking too much. That's not.
No, the opposite. It's the opposite. When I first read it, I was like, Jackie Love a genius. I see it. Right. I see it. Yeah.
Oh, I don't. Jackie Love is good. He is a talented mechanical player. He is one of the best ADCs I've ever seen in this entire game. But some of the decisions he makes, I'm just like, no.
No, that's my thought process of like, I see why he's a genius, because eing forward on Ezreal when you're 2v1 in lane, that's genius right there. You're baiting them in and you're dying. He's so far ahead of us that like he's just transcended. It's like Ning in the jungle. It's like the geniuses of the jungle. It's Ning. It's MLXG. It's they're just go-inners and they flip everything.
That's the ultimate genius, is whether or not if it's a coin flip, it's genius. If you actually have to put thought process behind it, no, you're thinking too much.
No, you've thought too much. The enemy's got tempo. It's all tempo. The final question: who will win LPL Spring? We spoke about this a bit earlier, but I want a definitive answer.
All right, let me pull up the bracket one more time just to make sure I have it. My heart wants to say EDG. Like as an EDG fan, I want to say EDG.
Ooh.
But I feel like, and this is gonna be a strange one, I think it's gonna be JDG.
Oh.
I know that's a surprise one. I think what's going to happen is that JDG have just got they've kind of got the best sense of the current meta. And I think that they have a lot more creativity to them. The other teams are willing to explore, and that's going to exploit them. The only thing that could possibly stop them is if they lose round 3. But if they win round 3, I think they win.
Oh.
I think that JDG win. And that, again, it's dependent on if they win round 3. But if it's not, then I'm going to go with probably EDG. Like, I think that EDG do have a good... See, I don't even know. Because I feel like JDG beat RNG. Like I said, it's like rock paper, scissors. Yeah. But I feel like in playoffs, JDG might just be able to find EDG's number and be able to beat them.
I mean, that's respectable.
Yeah, I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to go with JDG.
The Jing Dong gamers from Beijing are going to be going to MSI. Now, don't do what you did at Worlds, boys. Please. Lamau, please. No more. I mean,
we can't promise that.
They also have.
Yeah, you've seen us.
They also have Sheer and Mystic on the bench, which is like you have Sheer and Mystic on the bench. Like they could start for a lot of LPL teams, and they're just chilling. So.
And I feel like they're gonna play soon in playoffs. I feel like that's good. I feel like that might be their secret weapon that they bust out, and everyone's just like, what? And then they just end up rolling all of playoffs, and we're like, oh my god.
I wouldn't mind seeing Mystic roll playoffs. After I think that guy deserves something good after what Afrika did with him. That from last season. Also, free my man Keen. Get him out. I don't want to get him out. I know he wants to stay there, but get him out. He needs a team.
Yeah,
but the final. That's the end of the quiz. I struggled to end that for some reason. So let me go back. 1, 2, 3, 4. You got 4 out of 10. But obviously, one question is like a prediction, so you don't get a point for it. So technically, you got 5 out of 10, which is 50%. Is always a good score.
See, it's so unfortunate because there was like 2 or 3 of them that I was debating between the right answer and the wrong answer, and I went with the wrong answer. And I'm like, oh my god.
The FPX one was legit. It was so close. You went for 16 and it was 17. I mean, like you were almost there. Just go again. You just queue up again.
Queue back up. Let's try this one more time.
But we gotta obviously end the show off in the prediction fashion because. Predictions, as I grab my pen, because I got to write down our predictions for what's coming up, because predictions with Emily went awry a little bit. Well, I'll just show you. I'm now 1 point behind the guests. I've returned. It's over for the guests. If you don't,
no.
I don't know if you knew. I don't know fully if you know, but there was a 14-point gap between the guests and me. Because I decided to flip everything in the first few weeks, thinking I'm big brain, and it just didn't happen. So I was so behind. And thanks to Raz throwing it, getting 3 points, and me going almost perfect, I got 9 points. Oh no, actually no, I think I went perfect. I was like,
wow.
I was like, okay. So this week I went 8 to Emily's 6, which is incredible, and it dragged it back into a 1 point deficit for me. So obviously now we've only got 2 playoff things to predict before I run through what happened last week. So the points are going to change. If you get the correct game score, like 3-2, 3-1, 5 points. If you get the correct winner, 3 points. Because there's 2 series. So if you just get it completely wrong, you're whiffing. And I'm back into it. But this makes it so much better because this is going to go until the end of summer, hopefully, if the show stays around. So I'll finally see my cumulative score of how smart I am and how much I've improved, because I was so bad at the start, and now
I can't believe you had a 14-point deficit and you come back to only 1 point difference.
I started like predicting the opposite of the guest and praying it would happen, and the gods answered. But I'll run through what happened. Obviously, the result for WEBLG, it was 2-1. We both predicted 2-1 for WE. Then I went for the 2-0 of JDG of LNG. Emily had faith in LNG. I don't know why. I was like, Icon ain't doing anything. And then we both just failed on RNG TES. We both were all in on TES and didn't happen. Suding BLG, kind of easy. And then EDG, E-Style, very easy. But Emily had faith that it wasn't going to be many 2-0s, and I was just like, no, they're stomping. So...
Yeah. This season, like this split at least for LPL, we've seen so many 2-0s. Like, it has been... So, it's weird, too, because some of the matchups you'd think would be a lot closer. Just, like, what was it, like, looking at the RNG top esports one. You'd think that would be at least a 2-1. Nope.
Or EDG versus IG, you'd think EDG would win it, and it was just like, nope. But,
yeah, it's weird.
I'm going to ask you for your prediction of the series score of IG versus Rare Atom tomorrow morning, my time, late your time. How's it? Literally 12 hours from now. What's gonna happen? How's it gonna go down?
I know you as an IG fanboy, you're gonna be a bit upset by this, but it's gonna be a 3-1 for Rare Atom.
See, the thing with me is, I have a rule in the show where I don't bet for IG, because every time I have, it's gone against me.
You were saying that earlier.
Yeah, and like the worst it's got is I was like, oh yeah, we had a really good spring 2020. We didn't do well in playoffs, but like we are a really good regular season side. So like if we come top 3 in regular season, or no, top 2 in regular season, I won't. If we don't, I'll shave my head. If we win the whole playoffs, I'll dye it silver. If we don't come top 3 in playoffs, I'll shave my head. Like, so there's added onto it. These boys decided, you know what, Eris, we could. I think it was like top 3 or something. It was like, we could go top 3, but Rookie wants to play Zed, so we're going to lose this game and go 4th. And I was like, I will say, I was looking to shave my hair anyway, because I just wanted to change my hairstyle completely. So I was looking for an excuse. But I was really depressed that was my excuse. I had to tell my mum that, and she was like, the hell are you doing?
That's funny.
But... I've been convinced on Twitter. I've said that it's over for IG. It's doomed. But I'm going 3-2 IG. I feel like it's going to go to Game 5. And I feel Game 5 IG is a different beast. If it goes to Game 5, IG always win. We've been to KT. We've been through TES at Game 5. We haven't been to another Game 5 since then. Since we beat TES and Rookie, and they just picked Lucian Vlad and was like, hey, TS night, is this my world spot? But yeah, I'm going for the 3-2, because I want 5 games tomorrow. I don't want not 5 games. I need 5 games.
Yeah, 5 games are always more exciting, and it's like the one I hate the most is a sweep. You know, 3-0 for either side. It's like, come on, give me something. Give me something.
Give me like a 3-1, like, at least.
But I'll even go further and give you my prediction of game to game. I think game 1, IG are gonna win, but then Rare Atom are gonna win the next 3.
So it's kind of a sweep.
Kind of a sweep.
I was thinking similar in a way. I was thinking it goes, IG get game 1, Rare Atom go 2-0 the next 2, and then I don't know, Rookie's just like, no more, and he just like energizes and he pulls out like Yasuo mid and he just goes off. And now we're in game 5, and it's like, the Shy's like, oh, wait, Rookie's doing something? Oh, I want to do something, guys. Pulls out Lucian, just dominates, and it's like, okay, we're back.
If he picks Yasuo mid in game 4, I will cut my hair into a mohawk.
I mean, I pray he does that now. I
don't think it'll happen, but if that happens, that's what I'll do.
It's because it's one of the Rookie's like iconic champs from back in the day where I just wish
it is. I just hasn't played it like in a long time, and I don't see that being a meta thing to pick right now. It's like, it's just not gonna happen. It would be cool if it happened.
There's more chance of him playing Yone than playing Yasuo, but it's there. I'm praying it's there. But now I'm gonna ask for the second bracket. It's not the lower bracket because they're both in winners bracket. It's a weird bracket.
Yeah.
It's LNG versus WE, if I'm not mistaken.
No, Suning.
Suning. Oh my god. Yeah, I am mistaken.
Yeah, because WE barely were able to.
Oh
escape.
yeah. So
Yeah.
how's it going in your eyes?
I just don't see LNG having much of a fight in that one. And remember, I said I hate 3-0s.
You going 3-0?
Yeah, 3-0 Suning. I don't know if LNG are gonna really be able to put up anything again. Remember, it's like Makuya, Ale, top lane. I just don't think they can compete with
Bin.
Yeah.
Like, this man is insane. And yeah, I'm the same. I genuinely think like the only way LNG do anything in this series if Icon and Tarzan just like super connect and somehow win mid jungle like so resoundingly hard that it's just impossible for Huanfang and Bin to do anything. But even then, it's like you're praying that like Icon turns back to 2016 and that Tarzan's a really good jungler, but it's like you're praying that he like ascends the mortal realm of being, because he has to literally like pick up these guys on his back and then pick up the coaching staff and then the building and then he's carrying. Like, that's how much he's gonna have to carry. It's like Xiaopeng but with a little bit of a team.
Plus, it's into SOFM.
Yeah.
It's not like he's playing it into it's some middle of the road jungler. He's playing into SOFM, and so that's why it's like, yeah, I don't see that. If they win a game, I'll be ecstatic for LNG. But I don't even think they're gonna get a single game.
Yeah, it's like the analogy I just said. It's like he's having to carry everything, like the coaching staff, the players, the building, the fans. And then he doesn't have his kneecaps anymore because SOFM just slashed them. Like, SOFM's gonna be in your Raptors, he's gonna be in your Crooks, he's gonna be in your face, and I mean, Tarzan's the kind of guy to play around it. Like, we know how good he is, but it's just like, yeah, I feel bad for him. Like, why did you pick LNG, bro? You could have gone anywhere.
Yeah.
But to round it out, I went for 3-2 IG. You went for 1-3 or 3-1 RA. We both agreed 3-0 Suning because Bin is gonna put LNG in the bin, which is kind of sad. But yeah, I mean, that's gonna be it for the show. Whatever. Like, I suck at ending things. I really suck at ending things. But is there anything you want to promote? Anything you want to say?
I guess just follow me on Twitter at mad_magical. Hopefully one day I'll be able to get actual magical. Or follow me on Twitch, as I'll probably be streaming me memeing and breaking things, and you could always ask me questions on LPL stuff. Looking forward to being back and casting more LPL coming up soon, and looking forward to playoffs especially to see how all that goes.
And how much Bin puts LNG in the bin.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sadly, I feel like the beginning parts of playoffs are going to be like, it's okay. But once we get towards like round 3,
when
I'm like,
it's just banger after banger. It's certified good match after certified hood classic. Like, it's the kind of thing we're expecting. But yeah, thanks for coming on the show. I hope it all goes well in the casting side of things. I hope you get to witness some incredible League of Legends. I say incredible in quotes. It's incredible to like the people that don't want to think. You don't want to analyze this kind of chaos, the pure chaos realm of China. But yeah, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
And that's gonna be it. Thank you guys for watching. Goodbye.